Hi, my name is Mandy Buchanan and I'm the owner of the Go Deeper Bible Studies blog. And in this series we're looking at the feasts of Israel and how they relate prophetically to Christ and in our lives today. So far we've looked at the Feast of Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and the Feast of First Fruits. And today we are going to have a look at the Feast of Pentecost. The Feast of Pentecost we saw was celebrated in the Old and the New Testaments. And we're going to start by having a look at what it means in the Old Testament. In Leviticus 23 verses 15 to 21. It says, "From the day after the Sabbath, the day you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, count off 7 full weeks." That's 7 full weeks from the Feast of First Fruits. "Count off 50 days up to the day after the 7th Sabbath, and then present an offering of new grain to the Lord. From wherever you live, bring 2 loaves made of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour baked with yeast, as a wave offering of first fruits to the Lord. Present with this bread 7 male lambs, each a year old and without defects, 1 young bull and 2 rams. There will be a burnt offering to the Lord, together with their grain offerings and drink offerings, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Then sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 lambs, each a year old, for a fellowship offering. The priest is to wave the 2 lambs before the Lord as a wave offering, together with the bread of the first fruits. They are a sacrifice offering to the Lord for the priest. On that same day you are to proclaim a sacred assembly and do no regular work. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come, wherever you live." In the New Testament, we see the Feast of Pentecost celebrated in Acts 2, verses 1 to 4. "When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that separated and came to rest on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit enabled them." And so in this Acts 2, we see the start of the church and the infilling of the Holy Spirit. And in the Old Testament, they would wave 2 loaves of bread. And these 2 loaves of bread represent the Jews and the Gentiles, because the Jews and the Gentiles were filled with the Holy Spirit at different times. We saw in Acts 2, it was the Jews being filled with the Holy Spirit. And later in Acts, we read how the Gentiles then received the Holy Spirit. And so the Feast of Pentecost in the Old Testament, where they wave the 2 loaves, it's the Jews and the Gentiles. And also each bread symbolizes the coming together of separate grains to form a whole bread. And those separate grains are individuals, each one of us individually. And we come together in one to form the bread, which is the church. So in the first 4 feasts of Israel, we've seen things that have happened prophetically in the past. They happened at the time of the New Testament through Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, and then the infilling of the Holy Spirit. In the next few videos, we are going to be looking at the other feasts which have yet to take place at Jesus' second coming and what those mean. But I trust that you've enjoyed this series so far. If you've missed any of the videos, I'll leave links to them in the description below. And I trust you'll join us next week. Thank you and goodbye.